Welcome to J.R. Hendrick Texan Consult. And get ready to put your seatbelts back and enjoy the rest of the adventure. The episode is called J.R. Says Take Me Home. So sit back and let Jimmy get the narrative. Okay, guys, once again, we got one of those technology crunches again, so I'm going to go ahead and do the narrative. 8 a.m. on the morning of the 30th of October, JR and Ken wake up and step outside the door of the condo to look at the sun glistening on the snow. Hey, man, I haven't seen nothing like this since I went to see my Aunt Linda in Dallas, Ken said. Well, it does snow like that here, JR said. Hey, man, let's go inside. I hear that Carmen's got some cinnamon rolls for us. 9 a.m. An hour later, at the ranch, Jim, Betsy, and Elizabeth climb into the van with Christine and the chauffeur, Darren, to take them to Lubbock, Texas, for the swim meet at the Aquatic Center at Texas Tech University. At 10 after 10 a.m., JR and Ken get into JR's car and drive, and Mary Jo and Joe drive them to the Aquatic Center for the swim meet. 11:30 a.m. It's Blair Clark's turn to dive off the board, and JR taps him on the shoulder. Go get it, buddy, he says. Blair goes on the diving board and goes off with the triple somersault. He comes back up and the crowd cheers. Judge gives him a 9.0, which qualifies him for the next swim meet against Florida State University in Tallahassee. Man, you did great, JR said. And true that, Charlie Nation said. 12:40 p.m. It's now time for JR's qualifying heat. Darren, the chauffeur, goes down from the stands to tap JR on the shoulder. Go get him, man, he says. JR goes to the lane 4 for the swim competition. On your mark, get set, the announcer says. The buzzer goes off and JR is swimming with all his might. He goes to the end of the pool. It looks like he's going to be dead last. But hearing the crowd chanting, "Let's go, JR!" JR swims with all his might to the other end, winning first place. Darren, the chauffeur, reaches to grab him out of the pool as the coach slips the gold medal around his neck. Just as JR gets out of the pool a few feet, he collapses. The crowd gasps. "Call an ambulance," the coach said. Jim rushes and Elizabeth rush over to their son. "No, that ain't necessary." JR, you alright? "Yeah, take me home," JR said. Dr. Bertrand, the family physician, rushes over with his bag. It sounds like adrenaline fatigue. You better get him home and get some rest. JR struggles to his feet. At 1 p.m., they're back in the condo across from Texas Tech University. "Ken, you are JR's closest friend. I want to know who's stressing JR out, and I want to know now." "It's that stupid Brad. He tried to play me again last night. Trying to pretend like he's a friend, but he ain't. He even goes after JR sometimes. It makes me mad." 3 p.m. JR wakes up in the condo with his cell phone ringing. It's Brad. "I hope you realize how happy you are that what Ken has done, because it's wrong." "Back off, Brad. I'm not interested in playing your games anymore. I don't have a side in this fight." 8 p.m. JR is back in his dorm room when the phone rings again. It's Jim Bob. "JR, I'm sorry. I'm taking myself out of this fight. between Ken and Brad. I said, you might as well. I said, I'm doing poorly in Spanish, and I've been sick today after my meet. I know I've been sick too. We can't take a chance in playing Brad's game anymore. You got that right. You want to get together next weekend? Sure thing. Me, you, and Ken. No Brad, JR said. I'm not playing his game. Not this time. I hope you've enjoyed listening to JR Texan Consort. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and become a part of this story. Please stay tuned, and later on, in a few days, you'll hear the rest of JR's story. JR said, take me home, not this time.